Yahoo investors have a lot to digest when the company reports earnings after the bell. There are outstanding questions surrounding its plans to sell its assets to Verizon due to multiple data breaches. And there's a report the company faces a Securities and Exchange Commission investigation due to those breaches. Bloomberg editor-at-large Cory Johnson joins us now from San Francisco with more. And Cory, let's start with this SEC investigation. What do we know about it? What is the commission looking into?
We might have expected this. A couple of years ago, this SEC added into its requirements of companies notify investors in their 10-Qs and their 10-Ks, and perhaps even with the extraordinary 8-Ks, that there's been a hack and that it could infect the investor value. It's something that's, I think, important and a good thing for the SEC to do, to let investors know that the thing that they have an investment in may have changed in value because of this hack, and Yahoo did not release this kind of information. So the question is, it's an old saw, but it's worth repeating. What do they know, and when did they know it? Because if they did not disclose these things to investors, it could be a violation of this rule that they disclose these kinds of things. So the company could be subject to any kinds of fines or more. But maybe the bigger question looming is, what is the ultimate value of this business after these hacks?
Will there be any leniency from the SEC at all, Cory, given its troubled recent past and this desperation to sell?
I think the greater concern might be what happened to the stock price, and if in fact the value of the company as determined by the market declined after this. And one could certainly look at this and say no harm, no foul, because with the SEC, with the merger of Verizon, looks like it continues. The stock price held up, so if in fact the stock price didn't change much even after the disclosures, maybe the timing of the disclosure wasn't as bad a foul as it might have been in a different circumstance. So the stock had perhaps plummeted after the news.
Cory, I know that you've talked to Tim Armstrong of AOL about the deal. What's happening behind the scenes? What's the forensic investigation like? What is Verizon looking at here as it weighs whether to proceed with the deal and how to proceed with the deal?
Yeah, I mean, I think fundamentally what this comes down to is what kind of deal did Verizon think it was getting? And Tim Armstrong has been very clear. Tim Armstrong, of course, who runs the AOL business. AOL was acquired by Verizon, and he runs most of those media businesses under Verizon. What kind of deal does he think he got? What asset did he get from Yahoo? Did the value of that asset significantly change based on the hack? And in fact, do they still want to go ahead with this deal? And everything that he has said suggests that while they're going to do their responsible thing and look at the business at Verizon and look at the business at Yahoo and see if that has changed and try to get the best deal for Verizon and its shareholders, he seems to indicate that he thinks he got a steal at the price of acquiring the Yahoo assets, and that this accumulation of 1 billion users, there are very few things on the internet like this, and that Verizon's glad to have this under their tent.
And of course, we get earnings after the bell, Cory.
And I think they won't matter a lot. I mean, maybe we'll see if there's a material change in terms of number of users or advertisers' willingness to go to the platform. But the earnings are so under the radar that the company's not even going to have a conference call because they expect to go through this Verizon acquisition and complete the deal. So they think that the outside shareholders who are not Verizon don't really matter at this point, and therefore they're not even going to communicate with shareholders more than the press release as required by the SEC.